Hi everybody, hope you're doing all right today. Decided to make the video a little bit more personal instead of stage and everything. Hope that's okay with you. Anyway, so today we're doing a book review, and today we're doing Highwaymen, Robbers and Rogues, edited by Jennifer Roberson. This is what it looks like because the kids got a hold of the cover again and they tore it up. But everything else stayed intact. So these are different stories about short stories, about 23 short stories about highwaymen. And it's not just bands of robbers out in the woods, robbing people. Although there's a lot of that in here. What was interesting about this is that like every story definitely is unique. Some take place in like the medieval times. Some take place in the modern times. One takes place in the digital world, kind of like an old Wild West, but it's all like computerized avatars and whatnot, which was an interesting story. Definitely, most of these stories were very interesting. A few that stand out are Robin Hood, who is talking to Prince John or King John at that time on his deathbed. There was another one where this one thief, he's actually employed by these I believe it was a charity organization to he's a highwayman, but they employ him to actually save these people that are being trafficked across the border. That was an interesting one. Another one was a woman who is actually a ghost. She had committed suicide trying to save her highwayman boyfriend from these soldiers that were set to kill him. So definitely it has a lot of different stories, a lot of different genres, of course, comedy, a lot of supernatural, historical fiction, some sci-fi, as I've mentioned. There were a few stories that were fantastic. There were some that I just couldn't get into. The Avatar story, nothing really wrong with the story itself. It just wasn't. It's not my personal thing. I prefer my stories to take place out in the real world, not in the digital world, so to speak. And most of the stories were actually pretty good. Some they used some historical figures, Shakespeare, like I said, King John. That was interesting. I'm trying to think what else was in there. If I had to pick a favorite story, what would my favorite story be? I did like the talk with Robin Hood and King John. That was probably my favorite. As you know, the old Robin Hood tale, he stole from the rich, gave to the poor. Prince John at the time, King Richard was the ruler. Prince John was Robin Hood's nemesis. That and the Sheriff of Nottingham. Prince John was seen as this like very tyrannical ruler who was just bleeding the people dry of their taxes. And then here comes Robin Hood, who's robbing them. So definitely very poetic that Robin Hood is the one that visits King John on his deathbed. These two old adversaries coming together during the king's final moments. That was probably one of my favorites, to be honest. I'm trying to think of what other ones were in there. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of different takes, not just, robbers robbing people. There was one where this man is going to rob these two women, and they actually get the drop on him and rob him. And there were a few that ended on cliffhangers. So I'm not sure if it was going to be like an add to the story or just, something to leave the reader guessing. Like I said, some of them were straight poetry. I wish I could remember exactly what how they went. I'm not that much into poetry. So again, those were kind of lost on me. So yeah, to sum it up, very interesting. I recommend it for people that are, again, into crime fiction. Like myself, I'm into all types of crime, true crime fiction, whatnot. So this was a different tale of the old highwaymen and how nowadays, even though, you know, Robin Hood and his merry band and whatnot, and the thieves of the roads, how, you know, it goes to show you that they're not extinct. You know, like pirates, the old pirates of the Caribbean and whatnot. These groups are not extinct. They're actually still around. They're still operating. It's just, you know, their methods have evolved as has law enforcement to catch them. So I think that was probably the important lesson for me, is that they're not all gone. But yeah, so I enjoyed that. Recommend for people that are into more historical fiction. There's a lot of historical fiction in there that you will enjoy, mainly crime thriller people, if you enjoy that, such as I do. And also, I guess people that are just into short stories, people that are looking to get back into reading, I'd recommend it. There's a few stories in there for at least somebody. Very well rounded in that regard. That's probably its biggest strength. So that is it. If you yourself enjoy crime thriller, please check my own books out on Amazon. Ice Rising and Ice Box, part of an ongoing series. Ice and Rain will be releasing very soon in October. It is now September. Also check out The Ballad of Johnny Carlo and Life's Dark Corners. You can actually check all my books out at jamesmichaelsbooks.com. That's Michaels, Michels, jamesmichaelsbooks.com. You can go on there, look at my book section, click on the books, and it'll hyperlink you to the Amazon site, where you will get a more in-depth synopsis, reviews, and of course where you can purchase a copy for yourself. Or if you want, you can hit me up personally on my personal email that's on my website for a signed copy from me. So thank you for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe, and peace out.